Hi, Alex. Welcome to HealthTech with Purpose.
Thanks, Rishi.
Awesome. So, how's Chicago? When did you land here
Uh,
and what's
just
happening?
just last night, I had a time to get a deep dish pizza, and then wake up early this morning, and here I am.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay. So, Alex, can you introduce yourself to all our viewers and give a little background about yourself?
Sure. I am originally a computer vision researcher. I started in the field in the late 90s. Grew up in France, did my PhD over there, postdoc over there, and then I started a first company right after my postdoc, actually.
Nice.
So I've been in computer vision AI all my career, and
Wow.
mostly starting companies. So this is the third company.
Okay.
And yeah, I've been through a couple of cycles of hype around AI. So,
Amazing,
yeah.
amazing. So, that's interesting because I believe computer vision is now kind of catching up.
Uh-huh.
It's your third company, but I think now people understand more about the technology and the hardware is kind of catching up, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, definitely hardware is playing a role there.
Mhm.
In terms of the progress in AI in general, yeah, I think it's definitely, a watershed moment now, just like there was one in 2013
Yeah,
with deep learning. And now, the LLMs are definitely, marking the
interesting.
stand. There still is a lot of misunderstanding from people as to what these models can do.
Yeah,
But I think we'll start to get the right understanding of what these models do and can do. But they're
nice.
they're an amazing tool.
Nice, nice. So, tell us a bit more about your company. I see an amazing piece of technology here. Tell us a little more about the
Sure.
whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So we built a device here
Mhm.
that has three different kinds of sensors and kind of a lot of compute behind it, right?
Okay.
The goal of that device is to originally to do passive health monitoring in the home,
Okay.
like detect vital signs and measure vital signs for people without requiring any effort
Okay.
and with medical grade accuracy,
Okay.
right? So that's the original purpose. That's why the device is small, super easy to set up, lightweight, looks good. So the way it works is you go in front of it for 20 seconds and
Hmm.
it's going to scan your heart
Wow.
rate, breathing rate, temperature, blood pressure, and saturation.
Wow.
So the
Everything just by standing in front of it.
so yeah.
Okay.
So we're going step by step, right? Right
Yeah.
now we're focusing on temperature, SpO2, and pulse rate.
Okay.
And blood pressure is coming out, this quarter
Okay.
as a prototype,
Okay.
right? And respiratory rate is interesting, but it's not used that much.
Hmm.
So we'll do it at some point, but it works as a prototype already.
Nice.
So yeah, the challenge now is getting through certification. So we have three processes in parallel now,
Okay.
clinical studies that are starting, and we're hoping to have the device certified and ready to ship in the fall.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, what are the use cases that you see for this, and what are some of the applications that you envision the device is going to be used in?
Sure. There's a really strong movement of healthcare going into the home, right?
Okay.
Healthcare has to be provided more and more through the hospital, the clinic, but also in the home,
Yeah.
right? For many different reasons, right?
Yeah.
It's more comfortable for the patient, the outcome is better,
Yeah.
it costs less. So this is a perfect tool for that, right? What's happening today is when you want to release somebody in their home and continue treating them in the home remotely, you need to keep track of their condition,
Yeah.
right? So the way you do it is you give them devices that are classic pulse oximeters or blood pressure cuffs,
Yeah.
and you ask patients to take their vital signs on a
Yeah.
regular basis.
Yeah.
Two problems with that. First one is it's an effort. So at some point you don't do it when you feel that you're feeling better and the big problems are behind you.
Yep.
You stop doing it. This is exactly when problems happen.
Yeah.
And the other issue is that it's not that easy for people to do that.
Yeah.
It's super easy to get your saturation wrong or your blood pressure wrong
Yep.
if you don't use the devices well. These devices were designed to be used by nurses, not by patients.
Yep.
So that's the problem I'm trying to fix.
Awesome. So, this is non-invasive. They don't have to touch the device. I believe this. So, where do you keep it? Do you keep it on a wall? Do you mount it on a wall, or how does it?
So you can put it on a table like that. This is a
Okay.
universal mount here.
Okay.
So you can also mount it on a wall. You can put
Okay.
it on a kiosk.
Okay.
What I wanted to add is that as we were building it,
Yeah.
we realized there was also a lot of use cases in the clinic, right? Another
Yep.
big issue
Yep.
today in healthcare is workforce burnout,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So taking vital signs, believe it or not, takes some time,
Yes.
for nurses.
Yeah.
On average, if you look at all the studies out there, without interruption, it's 3.5 minutes.
Yep.
With the classic interruptions, it's up to 6, 7 minutes,
Yep.
right? So, an emergency care department that handles 100 patients per day, that's a lot of time. That's
Yeah.
8 hours total
Yeah.
taking vital signs.
Yeah.
So we can give back some of the time to the nurses who are overburdened already, and they can do other things that are more value added,
Yeah.
and they're not taking vital
Yeah,
signs.
I think that is one. And the second thing is probably these vital signs have to be taken after a certain period, right?
Yes.
So you cannot miss those because I think those are critical that you take it after every 3 hours or 6 hours or
Yeah.
whatever it is, the time that is assigned,
Mhm.
and that time the nurse have to be available, near the patient. So this kind of solves that
Yeah.
problem as well.
Yeah,
Very
absolutely.
interesting.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
interesting. So can you explain a little bit more about the tech? Because this is the hardware part, but how does the reading go to? Is there a mobile app, or
Mhm.
what happens at the back end?
Sure. So all the processing happens on the device, right? We have a camera, an infrared sensor,
Yeah.
and a radar, right?
Okay.
So we analyze all that signal and process it inside the box there.
Okay.
Once the data is available, we can either send it to a tablet,
Okay.
for a nurse that will be next to it,
Mm-hmm.
or for a patient,
Yeah.
or we can send it to an EMR or an RPM system or
Right.
any kind of third party. But
Right.
there's an API that's pretty easy to use
Yeah.
and to connect the device with any other third party system.
Interesting, interesting. And then the portal that you have, is it integrated with EHRs, or how is it?
So not yet because
Okay.
we need to be certified first.
Yeah.
So once we get the FDA clearance, then we
Okay.
can do the integration. So actually, the integration is pretty easy today. You have
Yeah.
third-party companies that build integration into different EMRs. So
Yep.
we have played with that already.
Great.
So it's not going to be a big deal. We'll have to make sure we recertify that because the FDA will want to make sure that this is usable and works well.
Yeah.
And there's an additional step when you connect to an EMR, which is patient identification.
Yes.
Right? How do you do that? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can actually connect a contactless, a wireless barcode scanner.
Oh, wow.
If you're in a clinic
Okay.
environment, just scan the barcode on the hand,
Okay.
on the wrist, Or the device can also do face recognition.
Nice.
So you can identify the patient once, and next time they will come in front of the device, they'll be recognized automatically
Amazing.
with the right
Okay.
patient ID or
Okay,
visit ID.
that's amazing. So this sounds very, very interesting. I believe you face a lot of challenges while you're building this. So walk us through that.
I mean, when you're a startup and you're building hardware, really complicated AI
Yeah.
that all has to be certified instead of the worst case scenario, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of overhead. Which we have to make that work with the agility of a startup, right? So,
Yeah.
but it works. It's just a little more complicated than a typical SaaS B2B startup.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And the tech that you build, right?
Yeah.
Do you have this set of engineers in you, because a lot of domain knowledge is also required, right?
Mhm,
So
yeah.
how did you manage that?
So we hire the right people,
Okay.
for QMS and regulatory. We have an awesome team,
Okay.
for everything that, all the hardware is also, we also hire the right people.
Yeah.
We just assemble the right team with hardware knowledge, regulatory knowledge, and of course all the software and AI,
Yeah.
we know how to do that.
Yep. Yep. And so what's the impact that you see this is going to bring overall to the healthcare system?
So I really believe that, in, I don't know, 5, 10 years, no one will ever take vital signs the traditional way anymore.
Yeah.
There's no point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
This is so much faster. You don't need to touch anything. You don't need to clean anything. You reduce potential contamination for nurses. As long as it's certified and works like the others,
Yep.
why use the old school devices, right?
Yeah.
So this should be in every hospital room and in every home tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
It can be part of any RPM or telemedicine system pretty easily.
Yeah. Yeah. So did COVID play an important role, to kind of open up uh, awareness about contactless, and then something that can be automated. Do you feel COVID was kind of a booster for such kind of technology?
Yeah, so there are, it's something that is in the air right now. I think our approach is a little different because we build the hardware and the software,
Yeah,
so it's easier to certify and to really make sure it works.
yeah,
But yeah, there's definitely awareness around that,
okay,
which is great.
yeah,
I mean, it's good to have the market recognizing that this is needed.
yeah,
I don't think anyone is mainstream yet,
yeah,
you know. So we're trying to be the first company who's going to be,
nice.
the first mainstream contactless vital sign scanner.
Great. And so how do you want to scale this up? Will this be a B2C, where patients can directly get this, or is it going to be through providers? Like, what's the?
Right now, it's all through providers,
Okay.
right? I mean, it's vital signs, right?
Yeah.
So, consumers don't necessarily know how to interpret them.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe fever, you know what it means, right? But,
Yeah.
blood pressure, it's not always obvious, or
Yeah.
SpO2, what's good, what's bad.
Yeah.
So you really need a healthcare provider in the loop. So right now, it's all like that.
Okay.
I think down the road, let's say maybe 5 years from now, there could be a change there, right?
Okay.
Because we're also building algorithms to analyze the trends we
Nice.
see in vital signs
Yeah.
and start to detect changes in the health of patients, right? So we have a couple of experiments going on right now,
Nice.
where we just track healthy people,
Yeah.
and try to detect when things are going to or starting to go wrong, right?
Okay. Okay. Awesome. And this has a camera, right? So how do you take care of the compliance part of things? Because because it has facial recognition as well, right?
Mhm.
So is the SIPA compliant, and how you are taking care of the whole security aspects? Just
Oh, you
curious.
mean
Yeah.
the cybersecurity?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So we do that externally. We hire a
Great.
really excellent firm to help us
Okay.
spot the weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
And then we patch that, and
Yeah.
then we do a survey and analysis, like intrusion test
Yeah.
on a regular basis.
Great.
And regulation is well done for that.
Yeah.
You can't put a device that's not secure
Yep.
on the market.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's not like we have a choice.
Yes.
you know.
Awesome, awesome. So, like, coming to the last question
Yeah.
from my end. So, what's the main purpose, and what led you think of building this company, right, and this technology, and
Yeah.
what's the main purpose behind this?
So I think that healthcare today is really too focused on fixing people and not preventing diseases, and not
Yeah.
analyzing and not keeping people healthy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I think the key to moving to preventive care is to have efficient, non-invasive devices like that
Yeah.
will keep an eye on patient, passively, but that this is really the purpose, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There was, in my family, there's been some people who died, unfortunately, if they had had a device like that, would not have happened,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
if you can detect problems early,
Yep.
also using new vital signs like pulse wave velocity, which is something that we produce with that device,
Oh wow.
which is
Okay.
a great complement to blood pressure, right?
Okay.
We measure blood pressure today because it's easy to measure with your hands, right?
Yeah.
So old school doctors, they just put the hand on your veins and they know your blood pressure, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we use blood pressure.
Yeah.
But blood pressure is there to understand the arterial health, the health of your arterial system. And there's two things, right? The pulse wave is like a wave, right? Blood
Yeah.
pressure would be the height of the wave, but
Yeah.
the speed of the wave is important too.
Oh,
That's what
interesting.
pulse wave velocity is. So if you have
Okay.
both information, you can get a much better understanding
Yeah.
of people's, arterial and vascular health.
Amazing, amazing. So, as I can summarize, your main focus is on the preventive care, rather than
Mm-hmm.
the care that happens after a patient is
Mm-hmm.
here, right? Which is the key focus.
Mm-hmm. This is
Awesome.
the end game, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say right now there's so many things to do in healthcare in terms of, just helping
Yeah.
providers care, have a solution for, workforce burnout, for
Yeah.
example. This is the
Yeah.
most pressing need right now.
Yeah.
So this is where we use it the most now,
Awesome.
But down
Awesome.
the road, yeah, that's the idea.
Great, great. So thank you, Alex, for joining us.
All right.
I hope everybody enjoyed learning more about the product and about the technology in itself and knowing Alex a bit more. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah.